Processing Center at Customs. I'm a trainer in the trade facilitation, especially the economic competitiveness package under the WCO Eastern and Southern Africa. This morning we are very glad to present to you a program and a webinar on trade facilitation and how we could leverage the benefits of the Authorized Economic Operator. This is a follow-up of a series of other webinars that we've been following as a result to continue our engagement between URA and our clients. The last one having taken place on export facilitation and the changes that have taken place ever since the auto conversion and how we could leverage on them. We want to welcome you profoundly. Please use our chats and interact with us, and I will share with you the comments with the presenters that we have this morning. After 2005, when 2005 at the end of the WCO Council Summit in Brussels, the Safe Framework of Standards was adopted, and the 2007 version puts a lot of emphasis on the regulations that streamline the working relationship between customs and the authorized economic operators. Also, authorized economic operators, AEOs, espoused in the WTO, World Trade Organization, Trade Facilitation Agreement, Article 7, subsection 7, where it is written that member countries shall put provisions, special provisions that enhance facilitation of cargo, especially with formalities and procedures of import, transit, and export. And a special mention is made of authorized economic operators. This morning, I'm happy and very humbled to have a World Customs Organization expert in tariff, but also a practitioner in as far as authorized economic operators. This lady has pushed the AEO with her team to the highest of levels. Of course, I will remind us that she was among the people that organized the 4th WCO AEO conference that hosted the entire world here in Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, I take the honor to welcome our first presenter, who is a WCO expert and the supervisor authorized economic operator, Uganda Revenue Authority, Madam Penina Kirungi. You're welcome.
Thank you, Regan.
And Penina is going to make her presentation and tell us what she has in store, what is in her package, what are the benefits. First of all, Mia just gave a very brief preamble on AEOs, but Penina will give us the full buffet of what the AEO has for us, what is an AEO, and her presentation to us on what they have in stock as the authorized economic operator in Uganda.
Okay, thank you, Regan. Good morning, listeners. My name is Penina Kirungi Kerere. I supervise the AEO program. I'm also a trainer for harmonized system with the WCO. Today we are going to talk about the AEO. I will give insights on the national perspective, regional and global. The AEO program, like Regan has said, started in maybe we should say 2005, when the Council of Commissioners of Customs sat in Brussels in 2005 to look for a way of dealing with the trends that were happening at that time. And they put in a document called the Safe Framework of Standards. We will give a few insights. And that ushered the AEO program. So AEO is a global program. It's also a voluntary program. Traders in the supply chain will join as and when they feel ready to join. It calls for partnerships. It calls for compliance among everything. And the backbone of the program is trust and ability. The clients have to have the ability to be trusted, but they must also be trusted. So I will take you through the presentation. The traditional role of customs has evolved over time. Initially, customs was meant to collect taxes and to protect revenue and to protect society against the wrong elements. But as years go by, we see security issues coming in. So supply chain security is key on the agenda. And of course, we were hit. The time America was hit in 2001. So we had the world had to put up standards that will secure the supply chain. So the safe framework came in to address that. Now, 21st century customs requires us to balance, to facilitate trade at the same time, to check on the supply chain security. So the balance is between customs being able to do what they do with the minimum resources, and the international trade continuing to increase. Volumes are increasing. The speed of trade is also very, very high. People want their goods yesterday, not even today. Technology has advanced, and on top of that, crime, terrorism is still a threat to us. So customs has a mandate to do all that, to check on the supply chain, and that ushers in the AO program. Now, in 2005, like Regan said, in 2005, when the Commissioners of Customs sat in Brussels, they put up a standard called the Safe Framework of Standards. This has a guide on how customs should work with customs. That is the first pillar of the Safe Framework. The second pillar is how customs should work with businesses that are found to be compliant. Now that is what gives birth to the AEO program. Then later, from 2005, about 2007 to 2012, a new pillar had to come in, because customs would not facilitate trade alone if other regulators didn't take reasonable care to facilitate. So the third pillar came in, and that's about customs and other regulators. So the SAFE has 3 pillars. So the AO sits in the second pillar, which calls for businesses that are found to be trusted, are going to cooperate with the customs administrations, revenue administrations generally, and get benefits. So the AO program, first of all, maybe I should also emphasize, it's voluntary. It also gives reward to trusted traders. So the Ugandan concept, AO started here in 2008 with a pilot. A small team, which I belonged to, sat in a small room to think about how to start the program here. And we were reading different programs, different benefits globally, and then we crafted a Ugandan program. We piloted with 10 companies in 2010, and in 2013 we institutionalized the program. We rolled out with the first 13 companies to come on board. The AO program is also at a regional level. So Uganda has a national program and also a regional, meaning you cannot become a regional operator before you become a national operator. So we do 2 checks at national level, then you are accredited as a national AEO, and a regional level, where you become a regional operator. This means that you're going to enjoy the benefits at a regional level. Tanzania, Kenya, Rwanda, Burundi, our friends are listening in, are giving benefits. There is a team of officers in each country led by a national project manager who makes sure that the AUOs get the benefits that they deserve. because we have that mutual arrangement. Now, AEO in full is an entity, a government department, an individual sometimes, whose function is interfaces with customs and is found to be eligible, and then will be authorized by the Commission of Customs as an AEO. So it's a status accorded to a trusted trader along the supply chain. You could be an importer, you could be a customs agent, you could be a manufacturer. You're licensed by customs to work with the revenue administration, and so the status comes as a reward for your compliance. That is what AEO means in full. It's a risk-based approach, because risk management must be employed in the work we do. Today, about 1,000 containers come through Malaba, and maybe another 500 through Busia. We have goods coming from Katuna. If our customs officers, if you remember the first slide, if the customs officer is going to open every container and verify 100%, I guess we would just handle maybe 2 containers in a day. Yet this cargo must move. Yet people want their goods. People are servicing loans, and they must be able to be seen to make money. So risk management is a tool that will help us categorize clients who are low risk traders, and then we let them go seamlessly. Then where the risk is seen to be high, where clients have not yet appreciated compliance and still have to do a few changes on their documents, then those will be targeted. Maybe we will use our mechanism to do 100%. So AEO comes as a risk management tool. It's also a system to differentiate clients. We've been serving people the same, but yet the trusted trader should really not go through the same checks that the one not trusted is going through. Then lastly, it's a mechanism to reward compliance. Uganda Revenue Authority must reward compliance, because the corporate objective is to grow voluntary compliance. So if we see operators who come and voluntarily comply, then we must give them benefits in terms of the way we serve them. Simplified procedures, simplified regimes, and other benefits that I will take you through. So who may join? The potential AEOs is everybody in the supply chain, from the manufacturer to the sea carrier to the freight forwarder who brings goods to the country, exporters, importers, customs brokers, warehouses that store the goods before they pay taxes, transporters, and I think port operators. Now in Uganda, we haven't developed the program fully. We have developed the program for importers and exporters, and then customs agents, because those sectors work together. Then we also have, of course, that also takes the bond operators, because the bond operators are keeping goods that have been imported or goods that are about to be exported. Then we have also a program for customs brokers. Yeah, we are developing transporters program. Now, we have delayed with that because we have other regulators in transport, like the Ministry of Works, UNRA, the regulators of transport, police. So we are in consultation with that team, so that we develop a uniform criteria that we are going to test against the transporter, and then we will roll out the program for transporters to apply. Very good. I will take you through the eligibility requirements. To be an AEO, you should be a player in the supply chain. Like I have said, you're either an importer or an agent or a bonded warehouse operator or a manufacturer. Then the second criteria, we look at your financial solvency. We look at the going concern. The third is you must have developed a compliance program. Compliance program, which has elements to do with how your company is arranged in terms of staffing, in terms of structure, in terms of logistical framework, in terms of crisis management. So there are several checks under compliance program that we look at. Then we look at the connectivity with URA systems, e-tax, ASCUDA. You must connect to the systems so that we're able to communicate. So those are the 5 criteria to join the AO program. Once you have you check and you qualify for those requirements, then you can start your application process. And I will say that we still work in a manual environment. So you start with expressing interest to the Commission of Customs by writing a letter to the Commissioner, and you just highlight that you want to join the program. The second level is preliminary consultation. Preliminary consultation could be done before you place your application, your expression of interest, or after. So anytime you contact our office, we will be able to take you through the preliminary consultation so that you apply for a program that you already know. So you could either write and come for information, or get information and then write. So the 2 steps go hand in hand. Now, we give you a self-assessment because in the start I said the AO program is based on trust. We don't want to sit back and do an audit and evaluate who you are before you tell us. So we give you a self-assessment form, and you fill the form and return it to us. Us meaning the AO unit, which sits on Mezzanine, Customs Audit Division. So once the application is sent back, we do vetting. The vetting is a bigger scope because, like I said, we employ a lot of risk management. So we contact our division, which handles risk assessment, to do a profile on a company. So the first step, we will get a profile from risk management. We will also gather information from domestic taxes, our sister department, because we don't take a compliant person from the customs perspective alone. We also get, you must be compliant in domestic taxes, in tax investigations, in all the URA departments. So we do desk audits to see how you've been operating in the last 3 years. Once we've gathered that, which is our audit, then we'll come to the premises to do an inspection. Now at the premises, we are looking at security requirements. Remember, I said AO is about facilitation and security of the supply chain. So the checks are both looking at compliance and also looking at security. So we do 2 checks. Now, once you've met the standard requirements, we will do a risk mapping. We sit with you to highlight the risks that we have seen that may jeopardize the status once we have let you manage your business. And if the results are good, then we will write a report which goes through the levels of management until the Commission of Customs approves you as an authorized economic operator. If at that level you didn't go through and the risks were very high, we don't forget you because you have come out to voluntarily comply with URA. We put you on a compliance improvement program and work with you until you're good to start to join the program. Unless there is information, intelligence information that we know about a company that cannot become AO, then outrightly we don't proceed. At that level, when we write a report, we may not progress. We may not accord you the status. Now, the current status is we have 84 national companies. These figures keep changing because we have applications that are running right now, and maybe in 2 months or 3 we could authorize. So this is as at today. Out of the 84, 31 are also upgraded as regional operators. The region has 132. That means operators from Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania, Burundi all come to 132. But out of 132, Uganda has 31. This 31 includes the WFP. We always want to say that because it's a first UN agency to become an AEO. And so we are proud also to partner with them. They contribute 24% in terms of volume. That's also changing because our next figure, I guess, having authorized Vivo Energy as an AEO will have to be more than 24% in terms of volume. CIF is 33.4 as at today. That is what they are contributing. So I must appreciate what the AEOs are doing, and also to make comment that the 33.4 is coming in hassle-free. These are trusted traders who sit and make an assessment, and the tax comes through. So it's great work. We really hope and trust that the 33 has to grow to about maybe 50 or 60%. Yes, so that we collect a lot of money hassle-free. These are some of the AEOs we are proudly associated with, and the list also keeps growing. That's why we left the blue line. We need to fill the page. These are the 84 that are enjoying. I should also mention that the logo up just above the URA is the AEO identifier. So it's been given as a benefit to all these companies to use it on their documents, on the email sign-off, and when an officer sees that logo, they are quick to act. That's the priority treatment benefit that we talk about. Regional perspective, the ESC AEO program is supported by WCO, has been supported by Swedish government, has been supported by TIMEA, Trademark East Africa, and the 6 partners. Sudan is still under development. We have 132 operators from the 5 partner states, and they are contributing 9% of the revenue, which is also good, and it will be growing, of course, as the numbers increase. The trade value is 11%, and where they want to go is mutual recognition. We have an action plan with India and South Korea at a regional level, and what that means is ESC as a bloc will benefit from the mutual recognition arrangement benefits, meaning the trader maybe from Korea will enjoy the benefits Uganda is giving, Tanzania is giving, Rwanda is giving, Burundi is giving, and we will also get the same benefits if our exporters go to India and South Korea. So this is what is going to happen. The next thing is emphasis on SMEs for both national and regional. The ESC is also looking at enrolling more SMEs. We are also focusing on enrolling more exporters so that they go hassle-free and have a lot of goods exported out of the country. The AEO benefits, a few have been highlighted on the screen. We give priority to AEOs in all areas of customs, in domestic taxes, everywhere in URA. We must be seen to give priority to the AEOs. Then expedited payment of refunds. This is from domestic taxes. Would like to appreciate domestic taxes management because AEOs are given priority when it comes to claiming their refunds. Flexibility in customs bond security. There is a lot of flexibility. Clients might not have a huge bond, yet they have to move cargo maybe from the port to inland. But because they are trusted, the commissioner might give a virtual bond and goods will move. That is not given to a non-AEO because how will they trust that cargo will actually come through? So that's a benefit, a huge benefit. And I'm sure Humphrey in the studio will comment on these benefits. I will also say that globally, the AEO benefits, yesterday I was looking through the compendium of about 94 developed AEO programs worldwide. But I haven't seen, everybody complains about the benefits not being that enticing, but no one has a list that we have, I will assure you, Humphrey. So the other is choice of place of control or physical verification. If you have cargo moving, say from Malaba or from Mombasa to Kisoro, our customs staff will move up to your final destination, so that you don't spend more money in offloading and loading. That is a huge benefit, and if we're going to measure, we will see a lot of money saved on that facility. We have attached a client relationship officer. A CRM is key to AEOs because they practically run around to make sure the AEO is served to the best of his desire. So that's a huge benefit as well. Automatic renewal of customs licenses, the bond license and agency license. We always do it annually, but AEOs have enjoyed automatic renewal before you don't have to submit different sets of data. You're already automatically given. The other benefit is self-management for bonded warehouses. This is a big benefit to bonded warehouses that we have given to manage themselves. This means that they work 24 hours and 7 days a week, because we have withdrawn the officer who used to sit, and if you remember the traditional way of customs, we both lock and open at the same time, but now bonds are able to manage their operations. They are open all through and they're operating, especially if they are manufacturing. They manufacture, for example, roofings, nice steel and tube, working all through. I'm sure this has improved their sales. The other benefit is a team. In DPC, where Regan sits, we have 6 officers who work on AEOs before they work on any other. That's a huge benefit as well, because you know that either you have a query and you have to answer, and it's with a specific officer, and the CRM is here also to back. There is a benefit to have withholding tax exemption. This is in conjunction with domestic taxes. Domestic taxes always gives us the requirements needed, and the AEOs or potential AEOs work through so that if they have any issue, they will solve it. National Working Group, where Humphrey sits, is a forum that advocates for AEO benefits, and it's really a benefit because you have space to talk to management, I should say. Maybe you have a chance to interact with management and make suggestions in terms of the way we work together with the benefits. There are so many others. Parking space at the URA tower. Humphrey is laughing. It looks like a small benefit, but it's huge because people move around to look for parking elsewhere, but the AEO slots have been marked for you to come through, do your work, and go. It saves a lot of time. The other is use of the AEO logo just in the corner. It also helps because your documents are separated. You're getting a distinguished service. This is how an AEO declaration looks like in the system, in a SCUDA. The entry looks different, so the officer has no time to even maybe pick a cup of tea and talk to a friend. They quickly have to work, while the non-AEO declarants, the entry looks different. This is the distinguished service that we are talking about. The impact, we've reduced clearance time, really. Self-managed bonds have managed to save money, as reported by one of them. Transit time has improved, compliance has improved, efficiency in resource allocation, especially for URA, which has been able to get the officers from the bonds which are managing themselves and deploy them where work is more, or where the risk is high. And of course, enhanced partnership. We have a group that we call our partners, and we are really proud to do that. We have a few challenges. Perception: the operators out there still think AEO program is for multinationals. We continue to say everybody can benefit as long as everyone can become an AEO as long as you're compliant. So the catchword is compliance. You may be small, but you're compliant. Our strategy is to work with SMEs and women businesses this year so that we improve on our compliance. We have limited buy-in from some regulators in the clearance process. Of course, we work with a few, but because we have different mandates, sometimes we get challenges in facilitation. Then the culture of low compliance. People are naturally low compliant, and so that's a challenge for us to enroll more. The manual process that we work in, sometimes we delay because of the manual process, but going forward, we are going to automate the program. I will show you in the next slide. And of course, the fast changing environment that we work in. COVID has come in, businesses are affected. We see some are almost deregistering, but we hope that there will be a ray of hope in the next year. Key achievements is mutual recognition. We have negotiated with China, and we are at the stage of signing. I explained what mutual recognition means, being able to benefit from the Chinese traders and the Chinese traders being able to benefit from here in that mode. The MRA actually comes with so many other benefits, networking, exchange of information, and all that. India is also on board. We are going to start negotiations. The other is automation of the AEO process under AEO ERM. We give thanks to Trademark East Africa, which has given us a lot of money through the project managing single window and all those projects. So we are going to automate the processes. This has improved. This has improved the image. This has improved the brand of URA. It has also created growth in terms of money, efficiency, and resource. And then what Regan said, hosting the global conference is because the AEO program here was mature enough, and when we expressed interest to host, we were allowed. And the benefits that came with that was really enormous in networking. Uganda came on the global map. I guess we got to be known because of that. And it was also the first in Africa. What I haven't said is we are going to review the program, and we are going to review the benefits to enhance them, especially in the 5-year strategy that we have drawn, so that the benefits seem to be tangible, so that we enjoy tangible benefits. The Commissioner General has emphasized strategic partnerships. So if we partner with the regulations of insurance, we could get benefits under insurance, maybe reduced premiums. We could also partner with immigration, and our AEOs will get maybe VIP treatment while they're traveling. We will also get, Humphrey is nodding. We are really strategic in terms of the future. Immigration has enormous benefits to give us. Insurance, airlines, Emirates is an AEO in Dubai, so maybe they could reduce on the freight charges for AEOs. So that's the future, really. The future is bright. And I welcome any other comments and questions. I was summarizing. The program there is a lot to talk about, but because of time, we need to close here. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you so much, Penina, for that elaborate presentation. I find your presentation very rich, and I think every Ugandan who is interested in doing business could spare some time and have this presentation. And I hope this will be available to our viewers and listeners on the social networks. It's very important that we share this slide for the benefit of everybody. Our lines, I will remind us that our lines are open. Please keep chatting, send your questions, send your comments, send your advice, and we could improve even this process better. I found it very interesting that there is automatic renewal of license, knowing the hassles you go through to renew the license. Humphrey, you're enjoying these benefits, and I didn't know, and you're quiet, but it is okay. I also liked your strategy for the new year, one on the women traders and the small scale traders, which is a perception issue that's not only for the Multilines and the Bolores of this world, but also I like your view and your strategy for that. There's a national working group that is constantly working at that level. Meanwhile, I welcome the feedback from the team that is chatting. I also I was one of the people who was pushing so hard for the AEO identifier in the system so that we can quickly expedite someone who is compliant. An authorized economic operator shouldn't take long. So I like the identifier. And I'm a benefactor. This morning I've just been decorated with an AEO logo, so I'm identified already and I'm enjoying. And Humphrey was laughing that for him, much as this one is Ugandan, for him his is international. But it is ESC at that level, and we shall get there. Thank you so much, Penina. That was rich. That was very resourceful. Allow me to welcome a general manager for Multilines International, who also is the human resource manager for the entire group. Incorporated in 2002 and having a very global presence in Uganda, in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Rwanda, in Burundi, South Sudan, and other parts of the world. Multilines has been very, very pivotal and very resourceful as far as clearing, forwarding, and the supply chain in East African community and beyond is concerned. And Humphrey, we've related a lot, and we constantly relate at different levels as far as cargo clearance, not only for his company, but for the entire supply chain in East Africa and beyond. Allow me to welcome Humphrey to come and make his presentation, them being our clients and partners. Humphrey, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Regan. I appreciate the opportunity this morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, viewers and listeners. My name is Humphrey Asimwe, and as Regan mentioned, I work with Multilines International Limited, where I am General Manager. Multilines International is a national and regional authorized economic operator. We are a logistics company that does clearing, forwarding, transportation, freight forwarding as well, and have been in operation for the last 18 years. And we are privileged to be an AEO, like I mentioned earlier, national and regional AEO. But like Penina mentioned, the process of becoming an AEO took the whole validation and audit and the whole procedure that she went through that I don't want to repeat. That at the end of the day, the benefits that we are reaping as AEOs was worth it. It makes that whole process worth it. In addition, because of our regional AEO status, meaning that we are recognized by customs authorities all over the East African region, we came up with the idea as AEOs, as operators, that it would be good to come together as an association and be able to do a couple of things together, like advocacy, lobbying together, to be able to sit at the same table with the customs authorities in the region, not just in our individual countries, as well as business networking and capacity building across the authorized economic operator players. And so we are in the process of formulating an association. I happen to be the interim chair of that committee putting together the Association for Authorized Economic Operators. Now, I must say that everybody in business is looking out for the bottom line. It must make sense, the bottom line. We are in this to make money. Like they say, nobody comes to work to count cars. No, we come to actually make money. So even the players in the logistics chain, whether it is a clearing agent or a transporter or a customs bonded warehouse owner or keeper or whoever it is in the logistics chain, is looking for, how can I make money? And traditionally, there's been this notion that integrity does not necessarily pay. That there is a need sometimes to cut corners here and there in order to increase on the bottom line. But one of the things that the Authorized Economic Operator Program has demystified is that integrity actually does pay. Because as authorized economic operators, with the benefits that Penina elaborated, some of the things that happen is that we save on time, we save on money, and we save on hassles at the end of the day. If a transporter, an AO transporter, or a freight forwarder who's an AO like Multilines, is moving a container from Mombasa to Kampala, and we have the faster clearance times through the borders and also through the ports, and also right here in Kampala when it gets to the ICD. Or apart from the faster clearance times, there is less intervention in terms of verification. If I'm moving 10 containers, I'm certain I'm not going to have all the 10 stopped and opened for 100% verification, because as an AEO, we are trusted. As an AEO, we have earned the right and the benefit to have minimal intrusive verification of our cargo. In addition to that, if there is actually need to verify, then we are allowed to verify at the owner's premises or at another customs location that is more convenient. At the end of the day, the savings are in terms of time, in terms of money, and in terms of hassles. And with that, it has enabled us as AEOs to do business better. And that is one of the reasons. That's why we're really, really grateful for this program. And we are, and as an association, one of the things we're pushing for is for more AEOs to join. Because the way the program works is in such a way that if the importer, as well as the transporter, and then the clearing agent are all AEOs, then it is presumed that that supply chain is secured, and so it attracts maximum benefits, and there is really no hassles in terms of time wasted and all these kinds of things. And at the end of the day, it does add up to what we are gaining as business people. So at the end of the day, I must say that as AEOs, we stand to benefit. And even through our association, one of the other things that we are looking out for is to be able to sit at the same table with the customs authorities and be able to discuss how we can, what other benefits, for example, we can get. The picture that comes in my mind is, when we go to airports and you go to Entebbe Airport or whichever airport, wherever, and you're flying out, you'll tend to see checking in for economy class lines up here, checking in for business class lines up here, and then checking in for first class lines up here. Usually first class, business class are usually shorter, and they are hassle-free, and they go through with all kinds of cargo. For you in economy, your line is meandering all over the place, and so it's the very same idea here, that as AEOs, when it gets to the supply chain, there are those who will go through the economy class line, there are those who go through the business class, but AEOs are then going through the first class line. And because of that, things are faster, things are better, things are easier, and it all comes because AEOs are trusted. Historically, customs was looked at as an enforcement agency primarily and nothing more. Every time you were to have an engagement with anybody in customs, it would be unacrimonious because you expected a fight somewhere. But I mean, with our AEO program, and especially with the whole rebranding of our revenue authorities over the years, right now we can, sit down in our national working groups with the management of URA or whichever customs authority within the region and say, look, these are some of the benefits that we want. These are some of the things that we want. This is how we can facilitate trade. Because at the end of the day, what we are looking out for is to be able to facilitate trade. And for us as business people, at the end of the day, it's the bottom line. How can I do my business faster, cheaper, and hassle-free at the end of the day? And so to be able to sit with the customs authorities and to be able to sit with other cross-border regulatory authorities like Uganda National Bureau of Standards, like National Drug Authority, like Ministry of Agriculture, Internal Affairs, whoever, and be able to discuss whatever is needed regarding the supply chain. At the end of the day, we benefit, and because we benefit, we are privileged to be part and parcel of this program. Of course, there are a number of things, and I don't want to go through all the benefits that Penina mentioned. I don't want to repeat them, but at the end of the day, there's still more. And every time we have engagements with the customs authorities, we are telling them, okay, now we want also this one. We want also the other one. We've been talking about things to do with tax clearances. We've been talking about withholding tax status. We've been talking about how the mutual recognition arrangements between, say, the East African community and other blocks in the world, whether it is like we already have South Korea on board, India coming on, China, how that can be translated into tangible benefits for us as business people. And at the end of the day, if it makes us money, then we are on the table. So, ladies and gentlemen, not to go very far, I think for us, we are, as AEO players, we are grateful, we are expectant, because there is a lot more that can be done. A lot of work has been done since 2008 when this was initiated here in Uganda. Incidentally, Multilines was amongst the first that were piloted, amongst the first group that were piloted as AEOs and went through the compliance checks. And I can safely and vehemently state that compliance does pay. Compliance does pay. At the end of the day, because you're trusted, there are less hassles and you'll cut on time. Penina mentioned in her presentation that we're contributing about 33% of revenue, which is good, and we are looking to increase that as we increase our membership as AEOs, and in addition to that, as we do more business, because with more business, of course, definitely comes more revenue for this country. So at the end of the day, we are looking forward. So I'll conclude by saying this, that to all the people out there, all the business people out there that are not yet authorized economic operators, I think the process of becoming an authorized economic operator has been shared. Express interest. Just express interest. And you know what? It is good for you to be able to express the interest, to be able to invite people to invite the customs authorities for whatever audit that they need to do, because at the end of the day, you benefit. At the end of the day, you benefit by being a healthy business person, by being a trusted business person, by making money because of the trust and the integrity that you have. And in addition, I should say, because of recent, we have seen this happening, where a number of tenders and bids that are coming out by a number of multinational organizations, for example, in the oil and gas sector, one of the requirements that they are putting is you must be an AEO. Because they're saying, look, if you're trusted by the customs authorities and the cross-border regulatory authorities, then we can't trust you to do business with you. So I think at the end of the day, this is growing bigger and more trusted, and at the end of the day, we'll all benefit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Humphrey, for that elaborate presentation. You know, usually when you are in a home and you say that my wife cooks well, and the neighbors don't attest to it that indeed we are part of the benefactors, people may think you're a lying husband or a partner. We want to thank you, Humphrey, for that, for confirming that indeed what we were presenting, what Penina is presenting, indeed there are people, there are companies that are benefiting from the AEO program. You actually bring it more painfully for people who are non-AEOs when you use the analogy of the economy versus business class. And if you've been there, indeed, and that is the whole essence. We are supposed to make sure that people have first-grade, first-class treatment who are compliant.
It's just right behind him.
Yes.
The picture behind
Right,
him.
exactly.
The red carpet.
The red carpet picture behind him, the poster, the flag, the banner, is the treatment that I'm rightly advised by Penina. That's the treatment we look up to give them. And we encourage everybody to enroll for the AEO program. Please join. He is testifying, Humphrey, that indeed integrity, compliance is painful in the initial stages, but along the way, the speed, the facilitation, the non-intrusive treatment, verification, is all a benefit that you can enjoy. And actually, he also makes it easier, saying that as it is even smoother when the transporter is AEO, when the bond operator is AEO, when everyone is an AEO through the chain, it becomes smoother. And thank you, Humphrey, for that elaborate presentation. I have so far 4 questions here, and one is I'll be sharing with them, and they will choose Humphrey and Penina. A client is asking, could the AEO supervision team, in conjunction with the AEO client's body, consider seasoned individuals to be accredited as AEO persons? And that one, I think, goes to Penina. Question number 2 is, since it's individuals who are responsible for the trust and compliance, can the AEO team consider accrediting individuals as AEO persons? And Penina, supervisor AEO, will give us her response. Do we have AEO individuals? That one is hers. In the past years, AEO certification was normally accorded once a company has been in existence for more than 3 years. Is it still the case? Because trust me, we have many compliant companies who would like to join and have not even operated for 2 years, including mine. Kindly advise. I would request that you will share with Penina. You have an engagement with Penina so that the team under her and the team can look through you and as she answers that. If an agent is AEO and importer is not, can their cargo be verified at place of choice, that is owner's premises, since agent is AEO? Now this one here, both of them can respond, Penina and Humphrey, because I'm sure there are such scenarios if interfaced with in the clearing fraternity. So who goes first? Ladies first. So that's Penina.
Thank you. And thank you, Humphrey, for the presentation. It was really insightful. The question isn't very clear to me, but I guess the question is, can AEO team and AEO clients find a mutual position to accredit people to become individuals, to become AEO persons, to become AEO operators or validators? Okay, I will answer both. There is, you could become an AEO. First of all, AEO is a voluntary program, like I said, and companies that are 3 years and above will join. 3 years being the criteria I showed, has a compliance history of 3 years as a requirement. we couldn't look at 1 year to determine your compliance, or 2 years was also still short. Now more than 3 was asking for too much, so we thought 3 was a good time to determine whether a company is compliant in its operations or not. So 3 years, you can start the journey to become an AEO. Now, for the team to accredit people as, I am thinking that accrediting them maybe as validators for AEO, that is possible because we can train individuals to become AEO validators. Humphrey is one of the trained validator, meaning he can take a company through the requirements to become an AEO. So along the tax bodies, tax professionals like PwC and maybe KPMG, we could also train the private sector in AEO validation, and they could help bring companies on board, if that is what the question required. If the question required if individuals can be AEOs, it can be. Individuals can become accredited as AEOs as long as their internal systems, their companies are organized and they fit in the criteria that was highlighted, because they are players in the supply chain, so they are good to join the program. I hope I have answered their question, but if I've not, my phone, my email could be displayed later, and then we have more clarification made.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Penina. And Humphrey?
Yes, maybe I'll start with the third question about when an agent is an AEO and the importer is not an AEO, can then the importer accrue some of the benefits? Now, that is, okay, I will take it in 2 dimensions. From the point of view of the AEO operators. As AEO operators, because I work with Multilines, we are clearing and forwarding agents, and we are AEOs, but we have a number of clients that are not AEOs. Now, because we are AEOs, we are required to do a risk assessment on our clients so that we know the clients that we are dealing with. Because of, one, we need to trust the clients that we are working with. We need to be able to stand in for the clients that we are working with, because at the end of the day, it is our accreditation at stake. It is one of those aspects, I should add, that we have been pushing and lobbying with the customs authorities to extend as a benefit, whether, and we've always argued, you want to extend benefits by osmosis or by, whatever it is. So from that point, there is that point of view that it is not a direct, you can't get a direct benefit if you are not an AEO importer working with an AEO agent. However, there are a number of things that you'll benefit from, because this agent is trusted. This agent is an agent that has integrity. This agent will be able to advise you in the right way of how to do things. And at the end of the day, there will be a trickle-down effect, okay, on your business. However, the ideal situation is where the importer is also an AEO, to be able to get all the benefits all through. I'll give some examples. Like Penina mentioned, the identifier in the URS system. So when an AEO agent puts an entry or assesses an entry and it is in the URS system, it shows on their end with a particular identifier and a particular color. But if the importer is not AEO, then it will not. It will not necessarily show, because there is still a bit of risk assessment that needs to happen on that side. However, the agent has a relationship manager, the agent has a relationship with customs and is able to make a call here and there, to be honest with you, is able to make sure that at least you get as minimal intrusion as possible, as viably possible. Though, from the customs point of view, I believe the standard is that no, it is better for all the players to be AEOs in order for them to share to accrue all the benefits. So yeah, I think that's how that operates.
Okay.
Just to add on what Humphrey has said, the benefits are given according to the sector the operator is or belongs to. So we don't encourage delegation of benefits. If you're an importer and you're not yet an AEO, we may be limited to give, for example, guarantee, security, or a waiver, or a special arrangement. We will give it to Humphrey, the agent, but it's very hard to trust or to give this benefit to a person who has no relationship with you. So we encourage that if you're an agent, enroll, because the program is here for you. Enroll and get all the benefits. In the meantime, the benefits that are accorded to you will be the ones accorded to the agent, like I went through, but we won't be able to delegate a benefit. What we ask agents or importers is to categorize their clients, interest them about the AO program, so that the benefits are enjoyed by all, like Humphrey has already said.
Okay, I have 3 questions here. Someone is asking that how long is the validation process? If I state that I want to join as an AEO, I am ready. How long does the AEO team take from the time of expressing my interest to the time of me starting to benefit from the benefits of the AEO? And also there is a question that I picked for, I think this could be for Humphrey, that when you're getting a non-AEO client, is your validation, is your assessment mechanisms, are they watertight? And because clients say there could be cases of abuse, have there been cases of abuse that you've detected in your interaction with non-AEO clients? Because it's suspecting there could be clients that come on board but with the intention of using your benefit to pass, especially with this non-intrusive verification at the verification point. I come with my excess, I use you, and then afterwards, after all, you want to know what cause. Then the third one, I think, could be for Penina, that is AEO permanent, that someone, the moment I become an AEO and I'm authorized, whether I do what, whether I become non-compliant, I will forever be an AEO. Are there cases or circumstances for termination of the AEO status? Ladies first.
Okay, thank you, Regan. Thank you, our audience. The question is, how long does it take to become an AEO? I took you through the authorization process, but it could take a month if the client is committed to become an AEO, to get the status. It could also take 3 months if the client is still committed, but maybe not very committed. Because we request for information in the validation process. We need to look at your company internal systems, we look at your financials for the last 3 years, we look at, it's kind of an audit, but when we work together closely, it is quicker. If we request for information and it comes through. But if we request for information and it doesn't, or delays, it also delays the authorization process. So the time really depends on how committed we are as the two teams who are going through the exercise. It's a manual environment right now, so sometimes filling the form, I know that also has been a challenge, filling the self-assessment form and returning it to us so that we analyze and make some meaning out of it is also a challenge. We encourage applicants to fill the self-assessment form and return to us or call us while you're filling. We are We are a team of 6 people, 7. We are available to support you, to answer, not to answer your questions, but to guide on how you should answer. And then you return the assessment for further processing. The other question was, is AO permanent? AO, the legal mandate was given by Reagan at the start. It's in ESCCMA. It's also in the Regulation on Compliance and Enforcement. And it's also in revised Kyoto Convention, the SAFE. It's a permanent program because its facilitation should be seen to be permanent. But the status can be abused. If the operator becomes non-compliant, he will be warned. If he can't heed to the warning, he will be suspended. If he can't reform during the suspension, the status is revoked. So the process of revocation is also subject to appeal. In regard to the ESCCMA, you could appeal, but we don't think that we can go to that extent, especially when you have a client relationship officer at your side and checking on you, and a strong M&E from our side, and also you, because of the trust we have in you, making reports to us and communicating error and voluntary disclosure that the Commissioner General opened, but we had already discussed that under the EO program. So if that is happening, we shouldn't go to the extent of revocation. But if there is any grave mistake or fraud or non-compliance, the status is revoked by the Commissioner of Customs. Thank you.
Okay. Then now we switch now to Humphrey. Clients want to be assured that there are no people fleecing around using your good reputation to do their dirty work and non-compliance.
Okay. So one of the systems that is checked at the point of validation where a company is being audited to join the AEO program is their systems in terms of risk management, risk identification, risk mitigation, and risk management. You cannot completely remove the risk, but you can mitigate it. And so those are some of the things that are tested, and those are some of the systems that are checked and continually checked, even on what are known as post-compliance audits, audits that happen after the fact. So it is difficult, and I'm not going to say it is impossible, but it is difficult to attempt to fleece such systems. I'm not saying it is impossible. I'm not saying there are no people who have tried. Yes, there are people who have tried, but eventually, because the systems are in place to do risk assessment even as you go on, it doesn't mean that you will turn away the client. It means that you will work with the client and enable the client to walk to the place of compliance. Because remember, it is a voluntary compliance program. So what happens, or what has happened is, yes, when a client comes through and has consignments, and because we've been in this business for a while, you do get to figure out what is exactly going on, and you're able to assist the client to be able to get to the place of compliance, so that at the end of the day, your accreditation is protected and they are also protected. Because you don't want a situation where cargo has been impounded because of non-compliance or whatever it is, and you're an AEO agent and you're the one who was managing the whole process. So at the end of the day, the systems are there to detect and mitigate those kinds of risks. So just to allay fears, no. Every client is welcome, wherever they are, in whatever form they are, come as you are. And at the end of the day, we will help you, walk with you to the place where it is a win-win for everyone.
Yeah. Thank you. I have quickly picked 3 questions, I think 3 or 4. One is for both of you, because recently, I think about 2 days ago, it became very clear that Britain has left the European Union, Brexit. Now, and the European Union, being a model union that we look up to as the whole world, how has Brexit affected or is likely to affect AEOs in East African community and specifically Uganda at that? And I think that one can be tackled from the side of the logistics angle, where Humphrey comes from, and the side of customs, where Penina is coming from. And then someone is saying that in line with other AEOs internationally, I think talking about Europe and parts of Asia, where AEOs have been successful. What is the future of the AEO? What is the future? And I know concerning the future, Humphrey on this side in the supply chain, the people on the ground, you have a future that you desire, a desired future. What is the future? Then also this side, already you've given a preamble of how you're looking at small scale traders. We are aware of the communities, the ESC, the SADC, the COMESA, and now the African Continental Free Trade Area. So what future do we see or envisage? There was another one. Yes, this one I think was for Humphrey, because when you became an AEO, you progressed from national to regional. There's a question that what enhancements have you had to make with the upgrading of your AEO status? So this client believes that being an AEO, you up your game. And we are aware that there is, among the provisions, the requirements is to seamless information flow, advanced information, security of cargo, and the interchange with customs. In that line, all that calls for infrastructure, if we critically look at it. And there must be enhancements you've made in your business, in your operation. So this client wants to be helped. What enhancements have you made that they could also maybe benchmark from you? And as the culture is, we start with the lady.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. The first, Brexit. I guess if we opened up to discuss mutual recognition, we would do it individually with European Union and with the Majesty, the Revenue Services differently. So they could have exited. Of course, I guess they are going to lose a lot of benefits because European Union had a lot of MRAs with other countries, Canada, USA, and because you can't benefit if you're not a member of the European Union, they have their reasons why they have to leave. But for us, if we have the opportunity to express interest to establish a mutual recognition, we would do it individually with the EU and their 30-something members, and then with UK individually. So we would still benefit, our traders would still benefit from the Union and from British alone. Yeah, that's what I can say. Maybe Humphrey can add on that.
Okay, so regarding the EU Brexit issue, I will come at that question from our experience as freight forwarders, because as Multilines, we forward, we export, we are carriers agents to export fish and flowers and horticultural products out of Uganda to lots of destinations worldwide, and some of the major destinations are actually in the EU. Now, the regulations previously governed the entire EU region, including the UK, when the UK was in the EU. But now with Brexit, the beauty about their divorce arrangement, if I can call it that, is that a number of the regulations remain the same. Okay? They don't change markedly. They remain the same. Meaning that if you're moving fish, if you're moving flowers from Uganda to London Heathrow, it's similar requirements, similar standards as if you're moving it to Amsterdam. Okay? Like it was before the divorce, the Brexit. So at the end of the day, the standards are similar. And because they are similar, we are required to maintain a certain standard. And as long as we maintain those standards, those markets remain open to Ugandan exports. That is the EU and the UK. The only other thing that we are looking out for is, as time goes on, if the EU, for example, changes its standards and say the UK does not necessarily change that fast or does not update them, or you can still access the UK market while not accessing the EU market. I'll give an example. Couple of years ago, there was an issue with horticultural products to the EU because of certain things that some of our farmers here were not aware of, that they were doing wrong, and so they didn't hit the standards, and so there was a partial ban. And but later on, we worked with the farmers here, and that partial ban was lifted, and so the horticultural products began flowing again, being exported to the EU. Now, if it so happens that, say, the European Union bans the importation of, say, green pepper from the tropics or whatever, and then the UK does not, so that market remains open. So that is basically going forward, that there is a bit of an advantage there, that they will not you don't have a whole block that is holding you at ransom. But the good news is at least the standards are the same, are similar, and so we can continue exporting to those destinations using as long as we hit the same standards. We also have imports from those countries. We have imports from the UK, we have imports from the EU countries coming into Uganda, and basically getting them out is not, because of the similar standards even after the Brexit, we're not really feeling the effect on this end. Maybe the only thing is has to do with travel, okay? Because previously a business person would get one visa and go through the whole of the EU, do their business. You're purchasing this from here, that from there, get it consolidated at this single port, say in Antwerp, and have it freighted all the way to Uganda. But now there is a bit of restriction in travel. You have to, because of the separation, you have to get multiple visas, all those kinds of things. But at the end of the day, it will not be really, really big, in my opinion, because the standards have remained the same when it comes to, even after the Brexit.
Okay. Yeah. So secondly is, what enhancements have you had to make in your business? Structural adjustments, infrastructure adjustments, manpower, etc. That somebody who is upcoming and looks forward to being like Multilines at your level could up in their game.
Okay, that's a very good question. I believe it is premised on the fact that the Authorised Economic Program in East Africa has two levels. There is the national level, which is Uganda, or the Kenya alone, or Tanzania, or the 5 countries. And then there is the regional level, which is the whole East African bloc as one. So if a company is a national AO, it enjoys benefits at the national level from the National Customs Authority. You're an AO in Uganda, a national AO, you enjoy the benefits of Uganda Revenue Authority. But when you are regional, you then begin to enjoy benefits from all the revenue authorities. We are a regional AO as Multilines International, so it is easy for us to get anything resolved with Kenya Revenue Authority, because at the end of the day, we are recognized as a regional AO, and Kenya Revenue Authority has agreed to give us benefits. In fact, I think Penina mentioned this, that the regional accreditation is actually done by the East African Community Secretariat, by the Director General of Customs, who sits in Arusha. And so what happens is I have an issue with a container in Kenya. At the end of the day, it's simply a phone call or just letting KRA know this is being handled by an AEO, a regional AEO, and they will accord benefits to that, to me, and at the end of the day, whatever the issue is with the shipment, it will be fast-tracked. What that did is that it enabled us as a company to begin to think more regional than just national, okay? And it's helpful because as the East African region, there is what is called the single customs territory. The whole East African region is considered as one single customs territory. So if I have a shipment coming into Uganda from outside the East African community, by the time it reaches Mombasa, I have already done the pre-clearance. I have already had my people at the port ready for this shipment to come in, and now we are even beginning to get benefits from Kenya Ports Authority as AEOs, and so Kenya Ports Authority will assist to make sure that my shipment is prioritized and at the end of the day comes through as fast as possible. So some of the enhancements we have had to do is thinking, of course, regionally. In addition, having our manpower that are on the ground in the port or in Dar es Salaam or in Mombasa, wherever they are, that, look, we are AEOs, we are a regional AEO, we enjoy regional benefits, and at the end of the day, we should not expect any delays, any hassles, or anything that will jeopardize the facilitation of trade. So at the end of the day, that is it's basically a body language issue, to be able to have our teams on the ground reaching out and making sure that we enjoy those benefits even there, and not just here in Uganda, but throughout the region. It also necessitated that you have people at the port or an individual at the port who will be able to help out with pushing shipments through the port. Even if you don't have a fully fledged office, I've seen some organizations that don't necessarily have fully fledged offices set at the port, but because they're AEOs, they have one or two staff that are based there and are enjoying these benefits, and they are able to move cargo through, okay, as fast as possible, instead of having to go through the whole expense of establish an office in Uganda, go establish an office in Kenya, go establish an office in Tanzania. No, you're an AEO. It is possible for you to enjoy these benefits by simply having the right people there, and they know where to ask for the benefit, and it will be given to you because you're a regional authorized economic operator.
All right. Thank you, Humphrey. That was very insightful and very handy for a trader, because he's concluded that indeed you don't need a fully fledged office furnished with all the amenities, but he's shared one of the secrets: you can have a few people there. He has called it body language, he has called it presence at the ports and places that matter. I want to remind you that we are having this as our first webinar. We are living in the new normal of the COVID and post-COVID period, where we cannot sit back this side and not relate and engage with the clients that we serve, and that is the players in the different players in the whole supply chain of international trade. I remind you that we are having in the house Penina Chirungi, who is a WCO expert and also a supervisor of the Authorized Economic Operator in URA, and also in her tenure we shall remember that she hosted a WCO AEO conference, the first of its kind on the continent of Africa. And also we shall remind you that we are having Humphrey Asimu, who is a general manager and a human resource manager for the Multilines International group that has a presence in the entire East African region: Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, South Sudan, and Burundi. And we are very honored to have you today. When we have 17 minutes to go, I start thinking of a parting shot. And the parting shot that I'm thinking about that has kept resounding here is the future. We are aware of the Authorized Economic Operator, especially in the Europe, it's working very well. You look at how their the TIR connects, how they work, how they have seamless border flow of cargo. We look forward towards that. There are also countries in China and Asia that are enjoying that. We also are aware of that seamless flow of cargo between on that axis of China and Russia, and the entire Asia. There are pockets of AEO benefits being enjoyed. So we are thinking as ESC, as Uganda, as partners, the future. And I know you have the future that you desire. We're also seeing the African Continental Free Trade Area coming in full force, etc., etc. Starting with the lady here, Penina, the future of AEO. Where do you see AEO? Where does Customs see us go? Then also after that, we'll have Humphrey share with us, your man of ideas and your committees and quick thinking. Where do you see AEO take us or us take it? Penina.
Thank you, Regan. The future of AEO should be bright. The future of AEO should be basically the future of URA as an administration. Because AEO has actually, if you look at the benefits of mutual recognition, where our traders are able to get goods from across, maybe if we sign the MRA with China, China will accord the benefits they give their traders to our traders. And last year we were honored to go to China for the negotiation. Some of the benefits they give are even reduced premiums, guarantees from the bank, credit facilities. They have a credit scheme for AEOs. So I'm looking at a Ugandan trader who is going to benefit from a seamless movement of goods from China, from India, from other countries that we are going to interest the MRA discussions with. And the traders, like Humphrey said, are here to make money. So that is going to really give them a good edge, a competitive edge with the non-AEOs. I encourage non-AEOs to really apply and become AEOs because the future is bright. Administrations are looking for people with integrity, a group to call trusted traders, a group to belong to or to partner with in the effort to collect revenue. So if you don't belong to that group, you will still be on the periphery and you will miss out on the benefits. I think I should just maybe encourage people, especially SMEs. SMEs should forget that AEO is, we must demystify the fact that AEO is for multinationals. We have companies here that are local and small, including a company in Busia for a lady called Alacha Clearing and Forwarding. We have Chikways. It has grown from grace to grass, from grass to grace. So we encourage SMEs, we encourage women companies to come and join a trusted trader, because URA is not ready is ready to work with the trusted trader more than a non-trusted trader. And the benefits are also enticing. We are thinking through, we have a list of about 19 that we are discussing together with the management team. So the future is really bright.
Thank you, Penina. The future of clearing, forwarding, and supply chain.
Thank you very much, Regan. The future of AEO, first and foremost, we are very, very optimistic. And apart from being optimistic, we're quite ambitious. That's one of the reasons as to why we are pulling together as an association to sit on the round table and lobby and say, you know what? Yes, there are 19 proposed benefits that are still in the pipeline. We actually need more. The truth is that in that engagement, Pena can tell, if Pena would tell you, in that engagement, we proposed over 35 benefits. 19 passed the first sieve, but we are still pushing for more. So basically more benefits. Right now, if in the East African region we are responsible for 9% of revenue through customs, we are looking to a time when we can at least be responsible for 50%. And I believe our colleagues in customs would want 50% of the revenue they make to come hassle-free, from people that they trust, that they don't have to check and recheck and counter-check and mistrust and all those kinds of things. You want to be able to lie down and know 50% is coming through without any problems. So we are looking, even us as players, we want to be able to get to that place where 50% of the revenue coming through the coffers through customs is from authorized economic operators or trusted traders. In addition, one of the things that happened, Regan, was when we had the conference here, it was a very, very good time to get to interact with players from all over the world and get to hear how things are happening. For example, in the US, this program is known as the Trusted Trader. And the way it is structured there is very interesting. It is slightly different from the way it is structured here in Uganda. But like Penina mentioned, when you go to the Far East again, in Korea, in China, the way they look at it is different. I mean, an AEO has a lot of leverage. Just by being an AEO, you're able to get a bank guarantee at discounted rates. Who wouldn't want that? That is what we are looking for. We are able to get discounted premiums for insurance. That is what we are looking for. We are looking for the day when an AEO does not have to put down a bond. I mean, in order to have a 50 billion bond, you have to go to an insurance company and donate to them free money. Because remember, at the end of the day, you are doing your work with compliance and integrity. You're definitely not going to have an issue. But even if there is an issue, you are going to be able to resolve it because you have a risk mitigation mechanism. So why should I throw out through the window all that money putting down a bond? And these are some of the benefits of pushing through and saying, you know what? One day, we know we shall get there. We shall get to that place where we save that money within our companies. And because we're here to make money at the end of the day, we are looking forward to the day when the supply chain is more secure and it has more players as AEOs. Yes, I am a clearing agent, but at the end of the day, it benefits me to have my importer or my client as an AEO, okay, or any other transporter that I may be collaborating with as an AEO, because at the end of the day, everything is seamless. So that is why we are pushing for more and more membership. That right now, the 132 regional players in East Africa, we are looking for a day when we can go to the Registration Services Bureau and we have a lot more AEOs there than we have. Not just the 132 that we have today, or the 84 national AEOs in Uganda. We want more, so that we are more trusted traders and we have a more secure supply chain. And at the end of the day, what that translates to is it is easier for us to do business, it is cheaper, and it is faster for everyone, and everybody wants speed. That is where we are going. We are looking for a day when, as AEOs, we are networking even more. That is one of the reasons we are actually putting together the association, to be able to work together. This came through when we were having the conference here. Because at the conference we get to meet other players from all over the world and strike some business partnerships. We're able to do some business with some of them. You're able to talk to somebody seated somewhere in Lithuania, and you're able to know, all right, fine, you can represent me there since you're trusted. I can represent you here since I'm trusted. And at the end of the day, that network means everybody is richer at the end of the day. Okay? So that networking, we are looking for that day when we shall have all those benefits and more come through. The future is indeed bright. The beauty about this program is it is what we would call a pioneer of sorts. Because when we started in 2008, a number of the benefits that the companies were enjoying, okay, got overtaken by events. What do I mean? That there were benefits that were strictly for AEOs. As time went on, these benefits started being given to other non-AEO members. Pre-clearance, for example, okay, and a number of other benefits. So at the end of the day, what that meant benefits that we are looking to get. But it's not just benefits because for benefits' sake. It is benefits that I can tell you for us as players translate to our bottom line. We make money, we save time, and we save on hassles.
Thank you, Humphrey. That was very elaborate. Your explanation opens a lot of discussion, and indeed, I would like to have a look at it as well, because it gets my mind thinking very hard. We want to remind you that the AEO is espoused in the safe framework of standards, especially pillar number 2, as Penina shared, customs to business, with the intention of securing the supply chain. Our presentations today have not gone too much into depth of the framework and other guidelines in there, but it's a very broad program that when you join, you help us as customs, and we partner to make sure that the whole supply chain cannot be attacked by unscrupulous people like the terrorists, security of the supply chain, but also smoother border to border and clearance of cargo, but also partnership to ensure that we are one, and information sharing. AEO program is very handy, and Uganda, we want to appreciate Penina and her team. I want to appreciate the stakeholders represented by Humphrey here for cooperating well and having an amicable same page, to be on the same page, because this is in line as well with the customs in 21st century, where a lot of quick thinking has to be done. The volumes are high, the cargo is much, the staff levels cannot be matched, but again there is need for risk profiling. We can't work in silos as government and the traders on the other side. So it calls for such beautiful programs whose benefits we are starting to see, and what a day to have a discussion today is. Our time is running quickly, and you'll forgive me if I haven't read your comments that you've been sending, but I want us to give a parting shot, your final remark as we conclude today's program. But I really want to say thank you for everyone that has contributed. Thank you for sending your comments, for contributing, for guiding us. Some of your questions had guidance in there, and we don't take them lightly. This program has been recorded and can be retrieved whenever needed. But parting shot, Supervisor AEO, what is your parting shot today? What can we take home in our check-up?
Thank you very much, Regan. To the staff who are watching, the departmental call is coordinated quality service with integrity, and I call upon you to give this service to the AEOs. They have invested, like Humphrey has said, they have gone through checks that really were rigorous, and they deserve that special treatment. So let's serve with integrity and accord the benefits. Of course, we've been serving, and we really appreciate, but let's do that extra mile. Let's be agile, let's give more than we can. To the clients out there, please, the ones who are already AEOs, we can't appreciate you enough. You're our partners, we are proud of the partnership. The non-AEOs, we encourage that you join, because voluntary compliance is the future of administrations. It will reduce the cost of doing business, as Humphrey has said. It improves efficiency. It gives you a brand, an image. Being an AEO is a huge, the most huge benefit is just being called an AEO. And we've seen companies market their businesses using, there's a time somebody was looking for a transporter, and in the advert they added, you must be an AEO. And Mezzanine that day had so many people coming in to look for an AEO status by force. So I encourage everyone, not everyone, if you know you're compliant, if you're not yet compliant, please be compliant and join the program. SMEs, as I've already called, please come on board. Women, we are here to give you even a lesser criteria so that you join the program. Thank
compliance is, at the end of the day, even you as an individual, as a business owner, when you're in your years of retirement and you're in your farm somewhere or wherever you are, if you set in place, if you put in place policies and systems and structures and they are compliant in your organization, you know that you will have a legacy. It will stand the test of time. That is what differentiates a number of businesses here in Africa and out there. Because here in Africa, we want to make money as fast as possible and don't care, whether we leave a legacy, whether we are compliant. But with compliance, you're sure you've set up something that will leave the test of time. This is one program, the AO program, is one that is saying we can help you be compliant, and in addition to that, give you benefits for being compliant. You deserve to join. You deserve to do whatever it takes to express interest and join the Authorized Economic Operator Program. To our friends in the customs fraternity, in URA, in domestic taxes, and all the other departments of URA, we are coming for more benefits. Okay, we appreciate, we are grateful for the ones that we have gotten so far. We know we can do more, and we appreciate the opportunity to be able to sit at a round table and talk through what our dreams and visions are. Thank you so much for facilitating it.
Thank you, Humphrey. And I was laughing. Humphrey has stated it clearly. We are coming for more benefits. Now, as URA, it's our turn to go into the kitchen and cook. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for viewing. Those who are following us on the social media platforms and those who are using the link, thank you so much for following this conversation. It's been all about trade facilitation with a keen look at the benefits inside the Authorized Economic Operator, both nationally and regionally. I've been your moderator, Regan Basoga.